Hey, I got some shit on me.
What the?
Wardrobe?
Alright, let me call wardrobe real quick.
Can we fix it?
Alright.
There you
Perfect.
go.
Perfect.
Today we're going to be talking about the COLT DELTA ELITE. If you wanted a 10mm pistol in the 80s, essentially you had three options. One was the Bren 10, which Dornhouse and Dixon was mismanaged into the ground pretty quickly, despite their commercial success with Miami Vice. Colt came out with the Delta Elite in the late 80s, and this is, I believe, a late 80s production Delta Elite. It's got the old style ring hammer, really coarse bead blasting. We'll talk about that. And also, it used to have a curved mainspring housing, but I replaced that because it was made out of plastic. Thanks, Colt. The third option is this gun, the Smith & Wesson 1006, which I've already done a video on. And that's probably the best out of the three, honestly. But for those of you who don't know, 45 and 10mm are the same length, so you can actually pretty easily make the 1911 into a 10mm without, it needs a new magazine and you need to redesign the slide and barrel, but other than that, they're pretty much the same size. A lot of people think of 45 as being a short, fat round. It's actually pretty long. It's just as long as a 10mm. And that's why a lot of 10mm guns started out as 45 caliber guns like the Glock 20 and the Glock 21. Those were not available in the 80s though, and this gun was. This video is brought to you by Greg's Grips. These are my Delta Elite grips, available soon on the website gregsgrips.com. Right now it's 1911 grips, but we'll soon be adding Beretta 92, SIG 226, and CZ grips.
We're rolling.
Oh. Yeah, so the Delta Elite, it's a nice looking pistol, but it's kind of a product of Colt cutting some corners in the 80s and 90s. This is during the period of time where they're doing assault weapons ban features on AR-15s before the assault weapons ban. So Colt is subject for a different video. They're a very interesting company, but they cut a couple corners on this gun, but at the end of the day, it's still pretty nice. The stainless is maybe a little bit less than stainless. Of course, there's different grades of stainless steel, but you can see there's a little bit of discoloration there, and I use this gun, I just shot this gun at a match, so it's not pristine. But this bead blasting is very coarse, and it kind of picks up rust really easily. I think one day maybe I'll have it customized and re-bead blasted, refinished. But for now, it's just gonna have to be a little bit, I wouldn't call it rusty, but almost rusty, pre-rust. Like I said earlier, the mainspring housing used to be made out of plastic. They did a very good job of matching the plastic, so you can't really tell unless you take it out, but I replaced it with this Dawson Precision Ice magwell, which is a competition magwell slash checkered mainspring housing. So that's nice. Another complaint I have about the gun is the safety feels like shit. It's really, it's got this like really bullshit like double like, oh, is it on? And then it keeps going. Flipping it off is not hard, but that just has to do with Colt being lazy about shaping the underside of the safety to interact with the detent there. But it feels, the more I use it, it gets a little bit better, but it's still kind of shitty. I expect more from Colt. The new Colts are a lot better, actually. They fixed a lot of the fit and finish issues with the Delta Elite. Maybe I'll get one of those one day, but This is a late 80s, early 90s Delta Elite. The other thing that I don't like is this magazine release is a little bit stiff. The more I use it, it gets kind of broken in, but when it was brand new, you had to really mash that thing to get the magazine out. Like I said, it's getting a little bit better as time goes on. Also, the trigger is not great. I would say it's probably a 5-pound trigger, which on a 1911, I mean, the whole point of a 1911 is to have a good trigger, right? It's a single action only pistol. Like I said, maybe I'll get it customized or change those parts out or whatever, but right now it has a pretty mediocre trigger, especially for a 1911. But despite all those flaws, it actually shoots pretty well. Oh, jam. Malfunction junction. It's actually the first jam I've had with this pistol. It's been pretty reliable, but it is still a 1911, so you know how that goes. Yeah, way more recoil than the 1006. 1006 is a dream to shoot compared to this gun. This gun is very snappy. So while the 10mm is the same length as a 45, it's obviously a little bit, well, it's not as fat. So you can get more rounds in the magazine compared to a 45. In general, as a general rule, the flush fit, these are the factory Colt mags, you get 8, and the Chip McCormick's, you get 9. There may be some extended options out there, but I think 9 is pretty much the best you're going to do for capacity. The 10mm 1911, it's the same capacity as this gun, the 1006. Both single stack. It's fairly accurate when I do my part. Cut. Hello there. As you all know, the Patriots have raised the prices on everything to stimulate the war economy. This means that the cost of production has really gone up. If you feel like supporting the channel, please like and subscribe, tell your friends, share the video, and if you want to be really good, click the link below for the Patreon.